Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Namaste friends. Today I would like to present to you a very simple but a very important topic. I feel this is a simple workbook, nothing great about it, but the results that you can take out from it, I think depends upon the degree to which you can apply it. See, it's on Graha Tithis. Just as we find Tithi based upon the difference between sun's longitude and moon's longitude, we can also find Tithis for all other planets as well. Jupiter's longitude and moon's longitude, Saturn's longitude and moon's longitude. So those are called Graha Tithis. So just as from Surya you get the normal Tithi, this I have taken the example of some person. Let me take specifically some particular chart so that it will be easier for you. I am taking Swami Chandrasekhar Saraswati's chart, who was born in Krishna Pratipat, ruled by the Tithi ruler Surya. So that is the distance between Surya and Chandra is the normal Tithi that we all know about. But in case you want to find the distance between Mars and Mangal and Chandra and then divide that into Tithis, then you get a Tithi as well ruled by some planets. So that way, this particular workbook gets for you, once you choose the name of the person, or the basically reference number, and from the database it pulls the name of the person, and you can, all the data for the person is erected and the chart is erected, and you can get the Tithi for each of the grahas. That is, in essence, that's the only thing it does. So Graha Tithis, I just wrote this Graha Tithis, the secrets they keep of relationships and their depth, revealing challenges we may meet and what our future may hold. Because it's not only the Surya Chandra Tithi, but every other Tithi also holds something. Let us see what it's about. The Tithi for Jupiter, Jupiter is our guide. It will tell you about the expectations it does abide, what your guru, basically what your teacher is expecting from you. So the Tithi for Jupiter guide, expectations it does bide, our guru's hopes and dreams to hide, and what they wish for us to find. So it is for us to find. That is Jupiter's Tithi. In our Swamiji's, Swami Chandrasekhar Saraswati, the Kanchi Mahapariva, his chart, Jupiter is ruled by the Paurnamasya Tithi. So ruler is Saturn. So he is such a great genius. Jupiter himself, the guide, is in such prakasha, because if you see his chart, Moon and Jupiter exactly opposite. It is Paurnamasya if you consider in terms of Jupiter's Tithi. So Saturn, this greatest ascetic planet, is ruling it. The Tithi ruler is Paurnamasya. So knowledge, wisdom, maybe all that is governing it. The Tithi between Moon and the Atma, I left it out here. Mercury's Tithi, knowledge to seek. And his Mercury's Tithi is in Krishna Pratipata. Mercury is also very much there, just opposite his Moon, just a little away. And it turns out to be a Pratipat Tithi. And that's ruled by Surya, the planet of integrity and knowledge and wisdom and spiritual seeking. So his intelligence is all turned towards that. So Mercury's Tithi, knowledge to seek, a deity's blessing, Shiva, Surya is Shiva, unique approach to learning, a wisdom, and wisdom they may choose to leak. So what nature wants to reveal to you, that comes through Mercury's Tithi. The Tithi between the Moon and the Atma Karaka shows the journey of the soul's desires to reach its maker. So Atma Karaka is basically, in this case, Saturn happens to be the Atma Karaka, and that turns out to be Mercury for him, the Tithi ruler. So in Swami Chandrasekhar Saraswati's chart, the planet of wisdom Jupiter, which is Shiva's incarnation, is fully reflected by his moon, so that we saw already. Planet of taste, wisdom, the Kavi, Shukra. If you see Shukra here in his chart, Venus, that is reflected by the beautiful Jupiter himself. So that is Guru himself reflecting his poetic nature. the Kavi Venus is getting reflected by Jupiter. Rahu Ketu are suffused by Jupiter again in his chart. See how many divine aspects are coming forth in his chart. Ascendant is ruled by the ascetic Saturn again. He is an ascetic. So his ascendant, the Atma, just as Atma Karaka is ruled by Mercury. So these are somewhat revealing about the nature of the person, the goals he is into his life. What is reflecting is 10th house of karma. If you see, this is the 10th house, and 10th house has so many planets. Just opposite is moon, reflecting all that the moon is. In fact, moon is taking all the energies from all the other planets and reflecting them. The planets of Surya, Mercury and Jupiter, all planets of knowledge, if you see beautifully in the 10th house of karma. So that's the way that we are able to appreciate very much from Graha Tithis. Even the 6th lord of work, 6th lord Saturn, is guided by Mahavishnu himself, in his case Mercury. So between any Graha and the moon, the Tithi can be found to start a Sambandha. This information is profound. For Jupiter's Tithi will indicate when and if inauspicious, the Sambandha will be filled with disdain. The moon's progression, distance to track, relative to each planet's place on the back of the celestial dance that we lack. But the Tithi does reveal, with a nod to the past, the sun's Tithi, most relevant it seems, as it pertains to one's own self-esteem, reflecting the journey its dreams, Graha Tithis, the secret they keep. So that seems to be an important thing. We normally see only the Tithi from Surya, but in this workbook, easily you choose the name of the person and it pulls out the Graha Tithis of all the grahas. Let us maybe try out some other Tithis of other persons. Anil Ambani, totally a different perspective that you might get. If you see, immediately you see a lot of greens here, a lot of Mercury, the planet of business, trade, telecommunication. So all these are Anil Ambani's portfolios. In fact, Mercury rules Saturn. So you see Saturn, Rahu, Ketu, all these planets, planet of innovation, technology, telecommunication, all coming through Mercury, Rahu, Sambandha. If you see the karma lord for him, it is again Mercury. The 10th lord is Mercury for him. Karma Karaka Sani. So Karma Karaka Sani is governed by Mercury here as the Tithi Lord, the planet of trade. So Karma is becoming trade there. Rahu is placed in the Karma Sthana itself. If you see there, Karma Sthana, Rahu ruling Mercury is placed in Mercury's house in the 10th house. Ketu is aspecting it and it is also governed by the Graha Tithi, Mercury again. So it's all seeming to tell about the nature of the work that he does, the karma that he does. If you see the 11th lord of business, Venus in his case is ruled by the Tithi ruler. If you see Venus, it's ruled by Chandra, the planet of fame. And Chandra in his case is exalted in Rishabha. Though born on a Krishna Chaturdashi where moon gets nullified, its powers are gone, but still it's an exalted moon. And the fame comes through for him as 11th lord. The business gives him the fame. Lagna lord in Purnamasya. See, the Lagna lord Jupiter is in Purnamasya. So that gives again fame. Moon reflecting Jupiter's planets of integrity. So seems to be a powerful public figure here with trade, communication. All that seems to be easily readable from the Tithi ruler itself. Let us get into some more charts. Let me pull out. This is a person who is dumb from birth. See, if you see the second lord, which is Mars in this case, the second lord Mars is ruled by Venus, the 8th lord. So 8th lord by itself, it brings in the negativity for the second house. You don't see it reflected otherwise. If you see Mars is exalted in the 11th house, whereas when you see the second house of speech, that is governed by the 8th ruler. The Tithi ruler becomes Venus there. So he is dumb from birth. He cannot speak. So that seems to be reflected very well by the Tithi ruler. If you take up Mercury, the planet of speech, if you see Mercury, again that is ruled by the same 8th Lord Venus. So the planet of speech is also ruled by the 8th Lord. The 8th Lord, the controller of the second. So that second house is 8th Lord spoiling speech. With Nicha Surya also. He is in the 8th house itself, quite strong as a 8th Lord and further afflicted by Surya. So this seems to be quite reflected by Venus appearing in multiple places with 3 contributions here. This is the count of the number of Tithi rulers. Venus is the Tithi ruler here. 3 times it's coming. And more so Rahu is coming. We'll have to check how Rahu is afflicting this chart. Otherwise, Rahu is in Lagna itself. And what it brings in there, we'll have to check. Yeah, just a sample of how Tithi lords could be useful. Let us take up some other example. This is Swami Jayendra Saraswati. If you see Venus the Kavi, Shukra, the 10th Lord is in Paurnamasya Tithi. So the Karma Lord is in such a grandeur there. If you take the 12th Lord of imprisonment, Jupiter, he is ruled by the 8th Lord Surya. So the same as what we saw in the 8th house there. So he did get imprisoned once because of the 8th Lordship of Surya, which is brought to the 12th Lord of imprisonment. So that is something revealed by the Tithi ruler. Mars, if you see Mars, the dominative planet, is quite strong. If you see his chart, 5 of the planets are in Martian Tithi rulership. So he was a man of great activity. He was man of a divine action, a person of great divine actions. And that seems to be motivated by Mars ruling multiple Tithi rulership. So this seems to be quite indicative here in this chart. So Graha Tithis seems to be a very important factor in which we are normally not using as general astrologers. Let us take up some other example here. I am taking here Hitler's case. So let us see Hitler's case. Amavasya Tithi, that is affecting the planet of guidance, Guru. If you see Guru, Jupiter, that the entire guidance is ruled by Amavasya here. So it is blackened for him. Guidance itself is bad. So is Ketu, the second lord of Artha. So if you see Ketu, the second lord of Artha, Artha is meaning. Artha is making money also. The meaning that you derive from life. That is ruled by Amavasya again for him. So, and unfortunately, both his Jupiter and Ketu are together spoiling his moon totally. So, if you see the Lagna Lord, for him Venus is definitely well ruled, we can say, by Jupiter. But Jupiter itself is corrupted by this Ketu. So, that spoils the entire figure there. So, the spoiled Ketu, the Jupiter, it takes away all the charm. And so many Amavasya Tithis, Rahu is representing 3 of the moon. Anyway, it will be Amavasya. If you basically, this is moon to moon distance, and moon to moon distance will be always 0. So that you can consider it Amavasya or the next thing. So you can leave out moon, but mainly Jupiter, the planet of guidance, and Ketu, both ruled by Amavasya, is spoiling his chart totally. So let us move on to another chart. This is also quite revealing in his case. Otherwise, from Hitler's chart, we see multiple planets, Sun exalted, Mercury, Venus very powerfully placed in the 7th Kendra, Mars in his own house. Seems to be all very good. But all these planets, if you see Sun, that is ruled by Venus, the Lagna Lord itself, that's good. If you see Mercury, that is also ruled by the Lagna Lord. Mars, if you see, is ruled by the divine Jupiter, we think, and that Jupiter is totally spoiled. And Venus is spoiled by that Jupiter. So in a way, it's a tricky horoscope where good things are getting camouflaged and the negative things are surfacing outside. So that is because of mainly this Jupiter getting spoilt, in his case by Rahu. That's what I would think from the Graha Tithi rulership. Let us take another example, 98, which is our ex-minister P. Chidambaram. If you see, Moon is in the 8th house in his case. Moon is in for the Rishabha Lagna, it is in Sagittarius, and 8th is the house of devious nature, and Moon is the mind, so mind becomes a little devious depending upon, of course it is also further spoilt by Ketu, and not only by that, it is aspected by Mars, Saturn, Rahu very strongly. So if you Moon in the 8th is definitely bad in his case. Lagna Lord Venus is, if you see, the Tithi is ruled by the 8th Lord. Lagna Lord Venus, if you see, is ruled by Jupiter, the 8th Lord. So even Lagna itself is devious in nature again. The afflicted Moon in the 8th is spoiling much of it. All evil planets in the house of speech, if you see, he used to speak very nicely, but then Mars, Saturn, Rahu, if you read all that, you know the nature of the person, the money making second house is spoiled so much, multiple planets. And if you see Surya, it is representing 4 of all the counts of Tithi rulership. So it is very dominating. So as a Surya, it's a planet of initiative and governance, and very authoritative. And even Rahu and Ketu both are Tithi lorded by Surya. That means the manipulative nature of Rahu Ketu through the planet of governance, Surya, is showing up in his chart. If you take the Karma Lord is Saturn, and Saturn is a beautiful Purnamasya Tithi ruled by himself. But if you see Saturn, he is so much afflicted by Rahu and Mars. So even the karma itself is, Lord is afflicted, is what I would think. So this is reflected by, the Jupiter, Sun is beautifully placed, but with the 8th Lord. So Sun is controlling most of it, the planet of governance, authority, which gets misused in this case because of the 8th Lordship. So that's the story here. Maybe let us take one more example. This is the case of a delayed childbirth. If you see the 5th Lord, Saturn is of course placed in the 5th house to show the delay in childbirth. And Saturn in this case reflects himself in a beautiful Purnamasya Tithi. But being nurtured by Saturn, the delay is quite strong. He is reflecting himself. That way, Moon opposite Saturn is actually delaying the matter that he is supposed to do, and being placed in the 5th house is delaying the birth of a child. Both Pitrukaraka and Jupiter. Pitrukaraka in this case, Pik seems to be Chandra himself. Putrakaraka here, Mercury. Mercury, where is Mercury here? Mercury is in the 7th house. Jupiter is in the 5th house. That's sometimes bad for a child also. Karako Bhavanashya, that is bad. But Mercury should not be bad. Mercury is in Mars' sign. Mars is a Badakadipati, that's not that bad. Okay. Who else are there? Venus is a Bhratrukaraka. Mars is a Atmakaraka. And Saturn seems to be the Matrukaraka here. And Jupiter is Dharakaraka. It happens to be the Dharakaraka here. So whatever it is, I thought the Pitrukaraka is also afflicted, but I won't say it is that much afflicted. So there was a childbirth, but it was unfortunately delayed for this case. So that way we can take multiple charts and use these Graha Tithis, though, and this is what I think would be quite useful. The person needs to enter in the database the name of the person and his latitude, longitude and time of birth, and that is pulled here from putting a reference number and the date of birth You can, as any of my other workbooks, you just pull it and the entire list is populated here. And you can get to know which tithi is ruling, which graha is getting ruled by which tithi. I think this is a useful tool for analysis. Hope it's useful for our community. Thank you.